Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending where you are in the world. So, Skino Ladan reporting live, bringing you an update about the Iceland volcano and how the scientific experts say that the magma has moved so close to the surface, they only have a 30-minute window of a warning before an actual eruption. Now, the local officials did declare a state of emergency for the people that live close to this volcano, and the name of this town, as reported, is let me get that name. Grindavik, Grindavik in Iceland. Scientific experts fear that this volcano may actually destroy that city or town. It's a city or town, I'm not sure, but that's the name of the city or town. So over the weekend, they have declared the state of emergency and evacuated citizens as they fear that this may be an eruption that may render that city uninhabitable, at least for the foreseeable future. But we are going to get into the sources as to where I got this information from. As you know how I do, y'all. I don't make any statements or claims without backing it up with factual and relevant, reputable sources. So let's get into it. By the way, if you're still in that town, I would definitely suggest to listen to your local officials to get out of the radius of this volcanic eruption, which obviously they can't really predict how far it's going to reach, including with the smoke and the smog, but you definitely need to get out of that town, that's for sure. So let's bring up the source. Okay, so this is from the Independent website titled Iceland Volcano Live. Eruption could happen with just 30 minutes warning as magma very close to the surface. It says people will just have to wait in suspense for the next few days to see what happens. Now, to me, that's it's definitely not a way I'm trying to live where it creates a whole bunch of anxiety because you don't know when it's going to erupt and how far the radius of this volcano will reach, not just the magma, but the smoke. The smoke is very deadly. You definitely don't want to be anywhere near the volcanic smoke. Um, you can literally die from that. If not right away, probably within months. Just the damage that that smoke will do to your lungs. And, the remainders of the ash after the smoke disappears too is also toxic. So it says that, let me close out this ad because it likes to get in the way. Authorities fear the Iceland volcano could erupt with just 30 minutes notice, as the country's meteorological office warned magma may have reached very high up in the Earth's crust. Kristen Johnsdottir, sorry if I butchered that name, head of the Department of the Icelandic Meteorological Office, said people would just have to wait in suspense for the next few days to see how events play out. Goes on to say in the article that she said that this decrease in earthquake activity over the last 24 hours could be a sign that magma has reached very close to the Earth's surface, adding that the scenario is not unlike what was seen prior to a previous eruption in 2021. And it goes on to say again, they keep stressing this 30-minute notice. Authorities fear that they could get as little as 30 minutes notice before the anticipated volcanic eruption. All the big signs are already there, so we are looking for the small signs, the signs that say that even though we are monitoring very closely. Vidur Reyneson, chief of civil protection, added. The Met Office said magmatic gas has been detected at a borehole in Svartsengi. I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce these city names, signaling an imminent eruption of the Fagradalsfall volcano over the coming days, with the town, okay, so it is a town, with the town of Grindavik most at risk. Now, there are some other recommended articles, which I'll just go over the titles because they seem pretty um, I won't say interesting, but pretty intriguing to see what these experts think will happen. It says, when will the Iceland volcano erupt and what happens when it does? Well, obviously, I can answer that without even looking at the article. According to the experts, as we just read, it's on the verge of erupting. And as far as I know, they can't determine how far the smoke will actually reach and how big of an eruption it will be. They can anticipate it, but nobody knows for certain until it happens. Um, and the local residents described the scenes as they flee the volcanic threat as a dystopian movie, apocalyptic like. So you can just imagine all the fear and anxiety that these people are going through right now. So hopefully, I live in the United States, New York. We don't have any known active volcanoes near my area, so I wouldn't be able to recommend what people do as far as to dealing with and what supplies to grab. Obviously, if you're gonna leave the town for quite a few weeks, you have to always bring your medications and all the other things that you would take with you in case of an emergency. But as far as the aftermath of volcanoes and things of that nature, definitely do your research or ask your local authorities, who are actually experts in preparing on how to handle volcanic eruption and what you can do if hopefully nobody loses their home or property due to this volcanic eruption, because then you have to start your life over, which is not easy for a lot of people, for most people, because most people don't have that much money saved up. So, hopefully you guys have some type of contingency plans in case it's the worst case scenario. And they saying Iceland volcano could erupt like a can of fizzy drink. So that's basically when you shake up a can of soda, you open it. So, now like I said, these are predictions. There's not nothing is guaranteed as far as how big the eruption may be. But, it's always to be prepared for the worst and hope for the best. Um, the key points to take away from this, they say, is Icelandic authorities fear sudden volcano eruption. The ground near a power plant. See, now we're talking a whole different level of disaster, because the power plants, you know, get what's the right word I'm looking for? If the power plants somehow leak out that nuclear radioactivity, now we're dealing with a whole nother atmosphere of issues. I mean, it's already enough damage that a volcano can do to a town, with the magma and the smoke. But now when you're talking about, the ground near a power plant swelling up and the chambers beneath it flooding with magma, well, what do you think fire would do to a nuclear power plant? That's the cause for a major, major natural disaster. So hopefully that doesn't happen, because now that land the whole surrounding land will be contaminated and toxic and won't be healthy to live in. You won't be able to grow anything. So, these are things to definitely pay attention to. It says the peninsula is braced for a new eruptive cycle to bring decades of volcanic instability. So, based on the meteorologic scientists who deal with these elements on Earth, as far as volcanic eruptions, and they're saying that there's going to be a new eruptive cycle that brings decades of volcanic instability. So that means that they won't really be able to predict when a volcano may erupt as efficiently as they have in the past. And these eruptions may be a lot more massive than they were in the past as well. It can fluctuate. The instability of that just it's kind of like a swift reminder that you know nothing is promised to us in this life. So obviously you can't really control where you live, like as far as getting up and moving to a whole nother area or country. Like I said, most people don't have the luxury to have that much money to be able to do that in the blink of an eye. So I just think that with the climate changing, whether you want to believe it's man-made or not, things are happening that are affecting people and where they live. So, what can humanity do to help people get up out of these at-risk locations where they will not only lose their life, well, obviously that's the worst, but losing their home, losing their property. These things are going to start hitting home base. Every neighborhood, every country is going to start to experience this on a more frequent level because of the climate change. Climate change has been happening way before humanity existed, or at least to our knowledge. So, do we contribute to the climate change? Yeah, a little bit, but these are cycles that the earth always goes through. And, a lot of people live in at-risk areas. Like I'm in the United States, so I live right by the coastline. If the sea levels rise significantly, well, I'm gonna have to relocate, and it's not gonna be an easy thing to do. So like I said, I don't live near volcanic or active volcanoes, but if there's a volcanic eruption, we'd have to evacuate as well. So this is an update from 40. Nah, I don't think that has anything to do with it. 1 hour ago, it says talks about the biggest volcanic eruptions in the last 10 years. So Iceland's town of Grindavik faces a catastrophic countdown to a volcanic eruption that could see its destruction, experts have warned. Almost 4,000 people were evacuated from Grindavik over the weekend as authorities fear that molten rock would rise to the surface of the earth and potentially hit the coastal town and a geothermal power station. Talking massive, massive damage if indeed that happens. Power plants and all that. Come on, y'all. I don't live too far from power plants, so if anything was to compromise the power plants there, or that radioactivity, yeah, it won't look good for any wildlife or life period in the surrounding areas. Says it comes as the country has been shaken by more than 880 small earthquakes, prompting fears that the tremors could disrupt the Fagradalsfjall volcano on the Reykjanes Peninsula in the southwest of the country. As Iceland waits in trepidation for the looming volcanic eruption, we take a look at some of the biggest volcanic eruptions in the last decade. Now, forgive me in advance for not being able to pronounce some of these names properly. I may butcher them, but it's just good knowledge to share with people so that they're aware of what's happened in the past. You know, so we got the Mariam Zakir Hussein as a full story. Okay. So biggest volcanic eruptions in the last 10 years as Iceland town faces devastation. So they're expecting a lot of damage. So it says from Indonesia's volcanic islands to the Philippines, here are some of the most devastating eruptions in the last decade. Okay, let me click on that. Yeah, it's an article. So it's another article. The biggest volcanic eruptions in the last 10 years as Iceland town faces devastation. So, okay, we got to add. I don't want to see. My bad, y'all. Close that out. Okay, yep, they speak about 4,000 people evacuated, but let's get to the list. Okay, so there were three eruptions that have taken place on the peninsula of Ray Ragens near the Fagradalsfjall volcano. I told you I was gonna butcher them. In the last 3 years, in March 2021, August 2022, and July 2023. However, previous eruptions did not cause damage, having occurred in remote valleys. As Iceland waits in trepidation for the looming volcanic eruption, we take a look at some of the biggest volcanic eruptions in the last decade. 2022, Hunga Tunga Hunga Ha'apai. Located in the southern Pacific Ocean, the Hunga Tunga Hunga Ha'apai eruption in January 2022 saw a plume of rock and ash shoot a staggering 58 kilometers into the sky. Okay, that's a that's a pretty big eruption. It said it was the biggest atmospheric explosion to recorded by modern tools, with the volcanic cloud so large it could be seen by astronauts orbiting on the International Space Station. Okay, that's pretty serious. That's pretty serious. So the violent explosion triggered a devastating tsunami with waves up to 45 miles high. Not 45 miles, I'm sorry. 45 meters high. And 1 meter is 3 feet. So 3 times 45 is 135. So you got waves that are 135 feet. That ooh. That's almost like that movie The Day After Tomorrow, you know? Could you imagine, like, just imagine you're in, any city that has, like, a lot of tall buildings, right? Because like or just take a look outside, look at the trees. We don't have trees that are 135 feet tall. Some, but, most trees are, like, maybe 70, 80 feet, so and they're pretty high up. I'm looking to my left because yeah, I have trees right outside my house. So just imagine trees that are in your neighborhood, double that size, but in water coming at you. Whew, 135 feet wave coming at you. And water is the most powerful force on this planet, mind you. All right, so we go to 2021, Mount Semeru. On December 4th, 2021, Mount Semeru erupted on one of Indonesia's most populated island, Java. Semeru, the tallest mountain on Java, threw up towers of ash and hot clouds on Saturday that blanketed nearby villages in East Java province and sent people fleeing in panic. The eruption destroyed buildings and several severed the strategic bridge connecting two areas in the nearby district of Lumajang with the city of Malang, authorities say. So this is a picture of that mountain in a volcanic eruption. As you can see the magma going down the volcano. In 2020, the Taal volcano in the Philippines slept for 43 years before it rumbled into a violent awakening on the 12th of January in 2020. Tens of thousands Tens of thousands were sent into shelter, and a total of 39 people died as a result of this eruption of Taal, although only one reported case was directly caused by the eruption. Ash, steam, and pebbles were blasted up to 9 miles high in the sky. Whew. That's about 45,000 feet in the air. Higher than most airplanes. As lava splattered into the surrounding lake. The Philippines is periodically hit by volcanic eruptions and earthquakes due to its location on the Pacific Ring of Fire. I had to put that in quotes because it's quoted in the article, which is a zone of intense seismic activity. So that is the Taal volcano eruption. I believe I saw a video on another platform that showed the energy wave that it caused. Something real powerful, y'all. Now, 2018, Anak Krakatau or Krakatau. The volcanic island of Anak Krakatau in Indonesia saw an eruption on the 22nd of December in 2018, which caused a deadly tsunami, with waves surging up to 5 meters in height. So 5 meters, like it's about 15 feet. So, obviously 15 feet is a lot less than 135. But nevertheless, 15 feet is still significant when you're talking about power that comes with the tsunami. Uh, we got an ad in the way, unfortunately, so I can't read that. Does it give me a chance to exit out? So I will skip that part. So scientists at the center said that the 2018 eruption and collapse Anak Krakatau Island is now only about a quarter of its original size. Wow. So that volcano changed the whole landscape and only left 25% of its original size. Yeah, it's some powerful stuff. 2018, Volcan de Fuego. The active volcano in Guatemala saw its most powerful eruption on the 3rd of June 2018 since 1974, killing 201 people, according to Relief Web. That is the volcano right there. It says the eruption launched columns of ash and pyroclastic flow, some 15,000 meters above sea level, and spreading west and southwest, according to a special bulletin issued by the National Institute of Seismology, Volcanology, Meteorology, and Hydrology. Entire villages were covered by clouds of ash and deadly lava flows, and some areas of Guatemala City also reported the fall of ash and small rocks. So I said the initial explosion could do a lot of damage. I believe, I don't know if that was 10, but it looks like that's the end of this article. So yeah, to those that are in Iceland, if you're still in that area, I would definitely recommend to listen to your local authorities. Um, get a safe distance away from the volcano, as far as away as you possibly can. And, definitely take whatever is important to with you that you don't want to lose, just in case it is the worst case scenario, in case, your home gets damaged, you can't get back to your home, take real personal items, when it comes to like social security and things of that nature, because you never know what's gonna happen. And you always wanna rather be safe than sorry. So I'm gonna check out on that. If you found this video informative or even entertaining, please hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and drop a comment below. As always, it's Oskino the Don. Peace and one love to all of y'all. Yeah.